Hi you guys, I'm in my car in the Walmart parking lot and I just started having a lot of thoughts that I wanted to talk about before I go into Walmart and get milk and fries. Okay, so I'm Canadian, so the election has, I don't want to say nothing to do with me because I mean Canada is connected to America, but it's like it obviously I am removed from it in a way that Americans aren't, right? And from like I work in the media, so obviously I'm informed of like what's going on in the world, but I didn't do like a lot of like deep diving into like what each candidate is standing for. I just kind of like, you know, my knowledge is like what I've heard in passing, you know, like I'm not a scholar of the 2024 presidential election, but I do have a lot of thoughts on just like the energetics of it all and just like cycles and like noticing things, you know. So obviously Donald Trump won. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming, okay? And I genuinely, it might not make sense that I'm saying this, but I think that's for the best. I think that is, everything happens for a reason and it's all part of a higher purpose, genuinely. And I was watching a video from, oh my god, I can't remember her name right now. She's someone I just subscribed to, but she's like this British, like psychic intuitive, and she posted a video, the day before the election, in the morning of, just kind of like talking about, you know, like her thoughts and like predictions and whatever. And I really liked a lot of what she said because she was just really talking about like, I think she said either like purple pill, violet pill, because it's like you don't, not red, not blue, like just neutral, like at the end of the day, like just being human, like just looking at things from like middle ground. And like because I'm in a place where I can see things from that perspective, it's like I am able to see how like the benefits that might come from a Trump presidency. Which is so weird to say, but I don't know. I watched that Joe Rogan interview and I was loving every minute of it, just because he's an entertainer. And there's these moments when Joe is asking him, like, you know, so like how do you deal with these other guys, you know, like the Vladimir Putins and whatever. And oh my god, these people are like ripping around the parking lot in like sketchiest looking car. Anyways, okay, so he's like, I go in there and I'm like, Vladimir, you're not going in. He just does his gremlin voice and it's so good. And it's like everything that he talks about is like, there's this one moment in the interview and he's talking about he took Air Force One somewhere and they were like landing the plane and it had to be like black, and he's like, you know, like describing the experience of like, you know, like how good the pilots are. He's like, it could have been a Hollywood movie. They were perfect specimens. These pilots are the most perfect looking people you've ever seen. Like he really embodies his birth chart really well. I'm just gonna say that. Not that is what makes someone a great president. He's just like, he's entertaining and he's really real. Even though he lies about, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like has he been caught in many a lie? Yes. But also he keeps it real in certain aspects where someone like Kamala doesn't. Like Kamala just feels a lot more performative than Trump, and that's like my opinion. But okay, so where I am really at mentally with this, or what's coming to me a lot is, so the last time Trump was president of the United States was in 2016. I was 17 years old. I had just gone off for like my first year of university. I loved to drink back then. Like I loved, these teenage boys were just looking at me like, what is this girl doing? Anyways, I loved to drink back then. Actually, on election night, that was the day I used to have a pet hedgehog. Well, I've had 2 hedgehogs in my life. My first son's name was Nugget and she was so sweet. So that was the day that I had to put Nugget down, was the day Donald Trump became president of the United States. It was a very, very hard day for me. So anyways, but at that point, what I'm saying is like, I was in a mindset where I was like, oh my god, Donald Trump is gonna be president. Like it just like, it seemed like such like a fear-based thing. Like even, like I said, I'm Canadian, but like Urban Outfitters was selling those fucking like, I don't know, not Trump those shirts before, and like I bought one of those because I was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense, right? But so what the British woman that I was watching this morning was talking about is how like whatever is happening politically, like on that stage, is just like a manifestation of like the energies of the collective, right? So there was like, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place right now, but one thing that I noticed, or like what was interesting to me, is like, okay, so America, the world right now is just like in a state of division, period, right? For so many different reasons. But so the elections for the past little while have been like, you know, very, very, very close, like within like percentages of each other. But this time, like, you know, some people, like the early polls like predicted it would be close, and like even that like Kamala maybe had like a chance of winning, but like from what we're seeing so far, it's like pretty much like a Trump landslide. Like, and so what the British woman was talking about, she was saying that not everyone, like, so when people are like, you know, doing research ahead of time, you like, oh, who are you gonna vote for or whatever, like not everyone wants to admit that they're gonna like vote Trump, like out of fear of like ostracization and stuff. And I've noticed too, so like a lot of commentary online will be like, you know, people who are like Trump supporters or whatever, they'll be like, yeah, like my neighbor put out a Harris sign, and like, you know, usually like she always says hi to me, but then I put out my Trump sign and now she won't even look at me and stuff, you know. It's just like, it seems like people who are like on the Democratic side are like, I'm a sensitive person, okay, so I don't take this word lightly, but they're just like a bit more sensitive and a bit more like, everyone should be like me, like they don't see a point to other people's thought processes or behaviors or anything. Hang on, my mom texted me. She literally just sent me a video of a dog that looks like a human. Okay, not even a video, a picture, and she had sent it to me last night and I didn't reply. Like, didn't get any funnier. Anyways, so so in their head, people have been seeing these very, you know, they've been drawing these clear lines of division, right? And then so I think that that might be why there's so much shock about why Trump won, because they're just like, they're like, oh, like I thought that we were really divided, I thought more people were on Kamala's side, like I thought there was more Democrats, blah blah blah, whatever, you know, because it's just like these people, like, they're not saying that I don't agree with the majority of things that Democrats stand for, honestly, but I don't really consider myself a political person. I'm just an observer and a commentator right now. Okay, sorry, I keep getting notifications, you guys. Okay, let me gather my brain. Okay, so back to the first time Trump was president. So at that point, like I was saying, I was 17 years old. I liked to drink a lot. Like I was just like in a state of fear over the election. And I was one of those people who like did feel very much like, oh my God, people who support Trump are not good people. Like I didn't see any merit. I couldn't understand where they were coming from. I didn't even want to be bothered to understand where they were coming from. And because I was in Canada, that wasn't as much of an issue, you know what I mean? But like if I was an American, like the division like that it can separate you from people that you love, like people that you have, that you're supposed to have important ties with in life, but it's like you're just prohibiting yourself from connecting with them over their political views, even though they never personally did anything to you. So now what I'm able to see is like in 2024, okay, I'm 25 years old. I don't drink anymore. I wasn't drunk watching the election. In fact, I was fucking stretching on my yoga mat in pigeon pose, just sitting there being like, okay, like calm as hell, just knowing that everything that's happening is for the better. Everything is just, it's part of a bigger, more divine plan. And so I believe that Trump being in office is going to show people like division is stupid. Like we are keeping ourselves stuck, and whether that be through Trump being a really good president or being a really bad president, either way, people are gonna realize like, okay, me and my neighbor need to we could turn up, but we need to band together and say fuck the government. It's not fuck your neighbor, it's fuck the government. That's really what this is about, you know what I mean? And like, so another thing too is like, okay, so Trump was elected like 2016, and then so for about like those 4 years, like the biggest crisis in the world was like MAGA. Like it was like, is he gonna build a wall, you know? And like racism was really prevalent at that time. There was like all the George Floyd stuff, like, you know, there was just a lot of like racial tension building. And then, as Trump put it in the Joe Rogan interview, he said something so funny. I can't remember exactly what he said. He's like, you know, a COVID comes up, you got to deal with a COVID. like it's just you got to deal with it. So yeah, they had to deal with that, whatever. But then that divided people too, and that was really big in Canada actually. Like I was like out living in Vancouver by myself, so I didn't really have to deal with this as much. But here in Alberta, like where my parents live, where I live right now, it was like there was a lot of people like really into like fighting for their freedom and not having to get vaccinated or wear a mask or whatever, you know, like. So there's a lot of division there. And then COVID kind of levels out, but then there's the war in Ukraine and Russia. They were going at it. I think they're still at war, if I'm not mistaken. I really, like, again, aware of what's happening, but if I dive too deeply, like, I'm psychic, it's hard on me, I just really have to focus on myself. And that's the point I'm getting to here too. So there's the war in Russia and Ukraine, and then of course there is Palestine and Israel happening too, and there's war, there's conflict everywhere. People are so fucking divided for every which reason, and the fact they have abortion on the ballot, you know what I mean? It's just like they're looking for every single possible way to divide you and your neighbors so that you are not getting angry at the government, you're just getting angry at each other. And like, maybe instead of, or like, if you're observing the world, if you're someone who's not happy that Trump is going to be in office in January, like maybe instead of looking at like, oh, like we're regressing politically, or like we've done so little, maybe look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I regressing in my life, or what am I doing to move forward like independently? Because at the end of the day, that's all you can control. And if we all like stop giving a fuck about like what's happening in the little screens on our phones and what they want us to care about, and just start going inward and looking at, okay, what is for my highest good? What is the next right thing I can do? What can I take accountability for? How can I be the best version of myself? Instead of trying to make everyone else in your life be the best version of themselves, or see the error of their ways, just go inward. And the more we do that, the more we will be able to have leaders who reflect what is of the highest good of the collective consciousness, because we all know what's for our highest good then. But if we don't know what's for our highest good because we're too distracted fucking worrying about what Joe Blow down the street is doing and his fucking mega sign or his Harris sign, whatever, then we're distracted. We're not locked in. What this presidential election is showing us is that we're not locked in enough, okay? And I have already spiritually awoken, all right? I've gone through it, and I know the next few years are gonna be hard for a lot of you because you're gonna go through what I've already gone through. And I'm just here to be like a vessel of love and light and understanding, and help everyone through their ascension and keep working through mine and make the earth a better place to be, because it doesn't have to be bad. I hear a lot of complaining. I hear a lot of complaining about how expensive everything is and how hard it is to do it all and everything. And I think that if we all truly just band together a little bit more and realize, like, it's, yes, focus on like your highest purpose, but like know that you can't do it alone. Like, we all need to connect a little bit more and be more open and curious and loving. That's what our earth needs, okay? That's what I'm here to tell you today. All right? Hope this helps. Bye.